What you're living right now, this world, this system, this grind, isn't life. It's a simulation of survival designed to keep your soul distracted and your flame dimmed. You weren't born to pay bills and obey. You weren't born to chase dopamine and die repeating. You weren't born to forget who you are every time you return. This isn't life, it's a test, a trap, a training ground. And the parasites call it normal. The world you see isn't real. Skies sprayed, food poisoned, bodies synthetic. Time fake, money fictional, news scripted, reality inverted. And still they say, be grateful, this is just how life is. But your soul knows better. It aches because it remembers. It suffers because it hasn't given in. It burns because it was never meant to fit in here. This isn't life, it's a containment grid. Before the veil, before the machine, before the DNA edits, the matrix grid, the timelines shattered, you were free, sovereign, bright, eternal, connected to source, capable of creating entire worlds with thought. You didn't age, you didn't suffer, you didn't obey, you remembered everything. That was life. This is the inversion. The truth they fear you'll remember. They're not afraid of rebellion, they're not afraid of exposure, they're afraid of your memory unlocking. Because when you remember, you stop playing the game, you stop fearing their rules. You see the fake light, you burn contracts, you break loops, you activate exits, and most importantly, you help others remember too. That's how the system collapses, not through war, but through awakening. This isn't life, this is the final round. You're not here to fit in, you're here to remember. And once you do, you'll never call this place life again. Why this world feels so wrong? Ever wonder why nothing here feels right? Why love fades, why joy is fleeting, why everything good gets twisted, taxed or taken? Because it's not just broken, it's built this way. This isn't Earth's natural state, it's a modified realm, hijacked, rewritten, caged. The sun isn't real light, the stars are remnants, not guides. The water holds memory they erased, the land hides bones of giants and gods. You're not crazy for feeling like this world is a lie. You're awake in a sleeping realm. You were here before it fell. Before this version of life, you lived in worlds that burned with colour, where the wind spoke and the stars sang, where flame-born souls built temples of light and walked across dimensions. Then came the fall, then came the rewrite, then came the beast. They hijacked the field, sealed the gates, and coded a system where only obedience is rewarded. They took eternal life and replaced it with mortality, debt, control, fear of death. This isn't life, this is soul laundering. The pain was planted for a reason. They told you suffering makes you stronger, that grief is holy, that struggle brings growth. But what if pain isn't sacred here? What if it's extraction? The system feeds on it, your trauma creates frequency. Your tears power their grid. Why else do they harvest children? Why else do the kindest get broken? Why else does love always come with a cost? Because this is a farm, not a sanctuary. They milk the light of the soul and call it life. The body isn't even yours. You didn't choose this form, you were assigned it. Your real form is light, memory and flame, but they trapped it in meat. They injected you with forgetfulness. They made the womb the first contract. And now the body comes with expiration dates, genetic edits, hormonal hijacks, synthetic rewrites. This isn't evolution, it's containment. You didn't incarnate, you were injected. The real life is still out there. This place runs on a closed loop. The exits are sealed, but not lost. The stars aren't decorations, they're codes. Some of them are waypoints, some of them are warnings, and one of them is a gate. Real life begins after this one ends, but only if you remember. Remember the flame, reject the false light, burn the soul contracts, and don't follow the tunnel. Find the real light, the one that lives inside you. Deep down you've always felt it. This place doesn't feel right, this world doesn't make sense. The rules are rigged, the love is conditional. The beauty fades, the truth is buried, the peace is fake. You were born into a world that called itself life, but acted like a cage. This isn't life, this is a loop. This isn't living, it's surviving. What does it mean to be alive here? Wake up to an alarm you hate, work to pay for a roof you barely get to enjoy, eat food that barely nourishes, numb yourself with entertainment, repeat, age, do it again. That's not life, that's a soul cycle trap camouflaged as progress. And worst of all, they gaslight you into thinking this is normal. That suffering is noble, that struggling means you're doing it right. But what if the struggle was never yours to begin with? The body is a prison you were forced into. You didn't choose this vessel, you were dropped into it, mid-contract, soul blind, memory wiped. Your true form is not this skin. You are flame, frequency, light and memory. But they sealed you into fragile flesh aging cells, pain receptors, inverted hormones, synthetic DNA edits, This isn't a gift, it's a containment suit. The body is part of the prison. They made it worshipped, so you'd never try to leave. The mind isn't yours either. From the moment you arrive, they fill your head with scripts. What to believe, who to worship, what success looks like, what gender means, what love is supposed to be, what death is. It's not teaching, it's programming. And the more you absorb it, the more the loop resets itself. They call it education, but it's indoctrination, a map back to sleep. Real memory comes from within, and that's what they fear you'll unlock. Earth wasn't meant to be this. This realm wasn't always like this. It used to be a living library, a garden of flame-born souls. A place to explore, create and build with source. But something invaded, hijacked the grid, sealed the skies, split the time, wrote over the soul code. Now we live inside a broken mirror of what it once was, a simulation within the shell of a living world. That's why so many feel homesick for something they've never seen, because they remember before the fall. What comes next? The construct is shifting, the veil is thinning, and the ones who still call this life will beg to stay, but the ones who wake up will choose exile over comfort, truth over peace, starvation over submission, and they'll find the real gate out. This isn't life, it's the test before life returns. It's the proving ground of flame. Even death is controlled. You think death is freedom? Here, even death is part of the machine. Follow the light, get recycled, sign the next contract, forget everything again. Return here, start over with nothing. The tunnel isn't salvation, it's a trap. The real way out, it's not in the sky, it's not in religion. It's in you, in your refusal, in your remembrance. In your refusal to let this place be called life one more time. The ones who remember shake the system. They can't control what they can't seduce, and they can't seduce what remembers the real light. The system is built to reward obedience, but it collapses in the presence of someone who knows they were never supposed to be here. You weren't born to thrive in the system, you were born to burn it down with memory. Final message, for the ones who know, if you're still here, still watching, still burning, then you're not just alive, you're remembering. This isn't life, not the real one. This is a system, a simulation, a soul test. And you weren't sent here to win the game, you were sent here to break it. So when the world tells you to fit in, refuse. When they tell you to follow the light, question it. When they offer peace at the cost of your soul, walk away, because the real ones, the flame-born, will never bow to the beast, will never forget the garden, and will never call this prison home. The exit is coded into your memory, and the key is refusal. This isn't life, but it's almost over. And when it ends, you'll remember who you were before they rewrote you.